Hello and welcome. Today we're here at the Post-Roe America Conference 2023 for the Institute for Faith and Freedom. I'm Grace Riley, and today we're joined by the one and only Dr. Paul Kengor.
All right. Thank you very much. Good to be with you. Thank you for putting my book out.
Yeah, everyone check out Dr. Kengor's book, The Devil
I want people to know
Melodad.
I didn't put it out. She put it out for me. So there
We
you
have
go.
to promote
Thank you for
it.
the
We have
plug.
to promote it, absolutely. But thanks so much for joining me.
No, good to
and
be with
Dr.
you.
Paul Kengor, of course, as we know, is a professor of political science at Grove City College. He's put a lot of work into this conference and organizing it. He is the best-selling author of nearly 20 books, and he is the Senior Director and Chief Academic Fellow at the Institute for Faith and Freedom, so it's always a privilege to have you on.
Yeah, it's great to have you as a student fellow. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So just to start, what inspired choosing Post-Roe America as the conference theme this year?
Well, we had the idea after the conference last April 2022. So Robert Ryder and President McNulty and I met, and we talked about what are we going to do for next year's conference. So we usually get the ball running right away on that. And I was trying to think back, Grace, when that meeting would have been. I think it was probably late May, probably right after commencement. And we were trying to think of which topics would we do. And I think I suggested it. I said, what about abortion post-Roe America? And at that point, so the decision came a month later, June 24th. And not that we were prophetic or geniuses about this. We read the newspapers and we heard that it was quite possible that the Supreme Court would be ruling against Roe v. Wade. And the court did. So at that point, we looked like geniuses, but in fact, we were just reading the newspapers. That's all that it came down to. And the idea was a conference not on activism, not on jumping up and down and celebrating what had happened with the Dobbs decision, but just on figuring out where does this whole thing go from here. I mean, for pro-choicers and pro-lifers alike, in the abortion battles, what's going to happen next? And we knew that abortion would largely go back to the states, but we knew there would still be national battles, federal battles, and they're going on right now. But we also knew that if it went back to the states, it wasn't going to mean that abortion was going to be illegal in the United States. In fact, right now, as I'm talking to you, we have Professor Ann Hendershot of Franciscan University speaking inside, and she's talking about abortion tourism. And states like New York, Governor Kathy Hochul, right from the very beginning, said, women of Texas, women of whatever other states were restricting abortion rights, come to New York. Lady Liberty welcomes you with open arms. We will help pay for your costs to come here. You can get an abortion here for free. And then Gavin Newsom stepped up in California, did the exact same thing. So we knew there were going to be abortion states, non-abortion states, pro-choice states, pro-life states. And I think a lot of people are surprised to see states like Kansas and Kentucky and others that they thought were pro-life states making some pretty controversial moves. So this hasn't ended abortion in America. It's just changed the way it's going to be done. So we thought it merited a conference, bringing in some of the best people in the country to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a great idea. Thank you for putting the work in and picking this topic, because obviously it's one of the utmost importance, being about human life, which is obviously our right to life is the foundational one for everything. And having so many experts here, even the people have spoken so far, and we'll have a bunch of these videos coming out where we can hear a little bit from each of the speakers who are here at the conference. And even from those short snippets that people can watch from the outside, you can kind of see all different angles of how this issue is continuing. And it would be naive to say, oh, now we've won and our work's done, because of course not. Our work has just started.
Right.
And there's so much more to do on the pro-life side. And it's really encouraging that we're able to have these conversations here at Grove City College and talk about all angles of the issue.
And in a very civil way. I mean, no one's canceling anyone here. No one's shouting anybody down. And our kickoff talk was by Clark Forsythe, who's been with Americans United for Life forever. I mean, I think 30, 40 years. And he spoke on the actual decision of Roe, how it was written, what Harry Blackmun did, what Justices Douglas Brennan and others did, how they influenced Blackmun. And Clark literally wrote the book on that issue. It's called Abuse of Discretion. And he kicked off the conference this morning. That book was cited by Justice Alito in his Dobbs decision. So to have somebody like that come in as the kickoff speaker, and then to have Abby Johnson speak tonight, we're going to have Michael Medved speaking tomorrow, and Medved's going to talk about the good news on abortion, which is that regardless of the laws, the numbers continue to go down each year. And the numbers in total continue to go down. As a percentage of population, they go down even more. And I think that Grace, that's probably the most important issue, is that regardless of what you do with laws at the state or national level, it's still a matter of changing hearts and minds.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that you're never going to get rid of abortion, any way that you're ever going to get rid of sin, right? So the best thing you could do is just try to reduce the numbers, I think, and however you go about doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's completely the point, that it is more than just a legal battle in that sense, that changing
Right.
hearts and minds and going back to the moral, cultural, foundational aspects is what is really going to be impactful and important. So it's so
You
great
said it
that we're
right.
able to have
Yep.
that conversation at the conference now.
Yeah, it is indeed. You put it perfectly.
Yeah, well,
Thanks.
thank you so much for joining me and for all the work that you've put into organizing the conference and bringing the speakers. It's such a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, thank you, and it's good to talk to you. And check us out, everybody, here and online, faithandfreedom.com.
Absolutely.
For more information on the Institute for Faith and Freedom, visit faithandfreedom.com.